It's January 2026, and I have finally decided to tackle my physical TBR and make a conscious effort in trying to read more books from my shelf rather than buying more and more new ones. And if you've seen my previous videos, this is not going to be the first time that you hear me say that. I have mentioned before that I want to read more from my shelves. I have said before that I want to be a lot more conscious about buying less books, and I have miserably failed in that. But I thought I could make this my little project for 2026. And the reason why I decided that would be a very good idea was because I made a list of every single book that I own at the end of 2025, and unfortunately, the percent of read books was just a little bit too low for my liking. The total number of books that I own is 347, and only 101 of them is read, so that brings the percentage to 29.11%. Now, for context, I only restarted reading at the very end of 2023, so the collection of books behind me has been accumulated in the last 2 years and just a tiny bit of the end of 2023. So, this is a lot of books to buy in 2 years. This is a lot of books to put on the shelves in 2 years. I am sort of running out of space, and I've gotten to the point where looking at my shelf, I just get a little bit too overwhelmed and I don't really know what to pick up and what to read next. I also feel like the joy of buying books and the joy of reading books have completely disconnected for me in the last year or so. So I want to be a lot more intentional and a lot more mindful about my purchases. With that said, I'm not starting a no-buy. I am still allowed to buy books, but only if I am truly planning on reading it in the next month or two. So that still allows me to pick up the next book in the series that I'm reading, or a new release by a favorite author, or a new release that I'm really excited about and really intrigued by, but only if I know that I'm planning to read it in the near future. And hopefully, if I follow that rule, I will be able to reconnect the joy of buying a book and the joy of reading a book, because as much as I love the collection of books that I have acquired, and as much as I love having a lot of unread books on my shelves and it's bringing me a lot of joy, I really miss that feeling when you go to a bookstore, you pick up a book, you come home, and you read it right away because you're just so excited to read it. And like I mentioned earlier, currently just over 29% of the books on my shelf are read. By the end of this year, I would like to bring that number up to 40%. That would fit in nicely with my goal of reading about 60 to 65, maybe 70 books this year, and that would also give me an opportunity to pick up a good few books within a year and not feel like I have to push myself to a no buy or low buy. And that ties in very nicely with my other goal for 2026, one of my biggest goals, and that is to be a lot more consistent uploading on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I have started in 2025 and I have genuinely really enjoyed it, but unfortunately, my motivation and my consistency have been a little bit up and down, which has been affected by certain life changes and certain life events. But in 2026, I would really like to grow my channels and be a lot more consistent with uploading and being here. And if you would love to follow along and see if I succeed in my goal of reaching 40% of read books and don't dive quite back into my shopping addiction and don't accumulate quite as many books as I did in the last 2 years, which I really can't afford to because I just don't have space to store them, then please subscribe to my channel and let me know what your goals for 2026 are, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.